following with the NPM, and then following with the TypeScript. Angular CLI, I just explained you like how do we install, but today I'll explain you one more time. And then following with the TypeScript that we have seen, what are all the concepts that are required to build that Angular application so far these many days. Now in today's session, how to create the first Angular application and what are the different folders that are available, and also what is meant by a workspace and how to create the applications. So those examples will understand it in today's session. If time permits, I'll start the components as well. So before going to create a new application, the very first thing is going to be, today we will be understanding about this. Creating the first Angular application. So in order to create that Angular application, we just have to maintain few softwares. Those are going to be Node.js. I hope everyone knows like how do we get the Node.js. Simply we'll go to the nodejs.org, and that time when I click on here, then it will download a file. It's an executable file, and we will install that file by clicking next and all. And that time when I download the Node.js, it automatically includes the NPM. It's a node package manager where we have all the client-side library integration. And then following with, as I told you, we should have the TypeScript. TypeScript is available. And if you can go to the typescript.typescriptlang.org, there you can find like how do we install the TypeScript also, what exactly the TypeScript. As I told you, TypeScript is the JavaScript, and we have more. And then TypeScript code converts into the JavaScript, and which runs on any JavaScript runtime, either in a browser or in a Node.js or Deno. Different tools are available. And safety at scale, TypeScript understands the JavaScript and uses the type inference. That means the data type support and gives you great tooling without additional coding. And how to install like a couple of things that I have explained, and we have seen different examples as well. Now the next one, to work with that Angular, we should go with the Angular CLI. When I go with the try Angular, okay, whenever if I wants to create an Angular application, the first thing is going to be, we need to verify that whether the node is installed or not, NPM installed or not, and the TypeScript installed or not. And the fourth one is going to be Angular CLI, which is installed or not. It is very important to verify. To do that one, I'll open my command prompt. And how to check the node installed in your machine or not? Right, we'll be giving node-v so that it will give you the node version. When I say about npm-v, it will give you npm version, and when it comes to tsc-v, it will give you the TypeScript version. And then following with the fourth software is going to be what? After Node.js, npm needs to verify. After that, we should verify the TypeScript is there or not. And the fourth one is going to be Angular CLI. Now, what is meant by an Angular CLI? Angular CLI is a command line interface. Command line interface, I can say. Now, what it will do? It is used to create, okay, develop, build, and run the Angular applications by using commands. by using the commands. That means CLI stands for it's a command line interface. By using that, what you can do, we can create that Angular application. And at the same time, whenever if you wanted to develop that Angular application, we supposed to download or we supposed to include couple of components. That means Angular items. Angular items in the sense like component, directive, pipe, service, dependency injection. Understand? Like that, routing. All these are belongs to the Angular. And whenever if you wanted to include anything with respect to the development, if you wanted to get them. And after that, once if the development part is done, once the development part is done, then what happen? We have to do the building, right? As I told you, build process is nothing but generating the build files. Directly JavaScript or else directly the TypeScript will never run. So that what we can do, we are going to generate the build files. Simple example, if we can take like Java is directly running. We have to generate the jar files, and from there only Java has to be run. And when it comes to C# also, we have to generate that MSIL file, that is the DLL, RLCXC, and those files will run. Direct C# code will never. In the same way, whenever if you are writing the TypeScript will not able to run. I hope everyone know. I have already shown you an example as well. When you write the TypeScript code, until unless it converts it into the JavaScript, the files will not be executed. So that process generally what we call it as build process. And the last one, after the build is successfully done, we have to verify that output in a browser, right? So that means the first thing is going to be, we will have to create an application. And after creating that, we will be going with the development process. We will be writing the development. And once the development is done, we have the process of the build. And once the build is done, we have the process of execution. In all these stages, Angular CLI will be helpful for us. Start from the creation, end with that execution. In all the scenarios, Angular CLI would be very much helpful for us in order to build that applications. Clear now? Angular CLI is like, most used one, and mostly it will be used to create the command. But how we can do that? By using the commands. So in order to get that Angular CLI into the mission, we have a command. What is the command? Right. That means to install Angular CLI. Angular CLI, we use a command. We use a command that is npm install. Npm install and then -G. If you wanted to go with a global installation, you can go. Otherwise, you need not to give this one also. But as these are the examples, I'll go with the -G and then I'm using @Angular/CLI. Now you can see I have already installed in my mission. If you wanted to verify the version which is installed in mission, we use a command. That is ng version. Now you can see I'll go here and I'm giving ng space version. There it can show you what version of that Angular CLI right now you people are having. It's 15.1.4. 15 is the major version. We'll concentrate on the major part only. Next one is going to be the minor version. 4 is going to be the build version. Build versions are frequently changed, but major and minor versions are not going to be frequently changed at all. So always we will change what? The build versions. And right now, the latest and stable version is 15. 16 is also going to be released as beta, but it is not in the stable mode. And even in real time also, we have the projects from 12 onwards right now. At this moment, we have the projects from 12 onwards, and before that, we have out of support. Okay, out of support in the sense they won't remove. My project, as I told you, it was there still in 9 only. I'm using a project that is contains Angular 9 only. But if anything which is with respect to the architecture level, if I face any issue, Angular team will not help us. That is what we call it as out of support. Out of support in the sense we are not getting any support from the Angular team. If anything, architecture level, if I face any issue, Angular team will not provide the support, but still the application is working. Even though if it is Angular 3, sorry, Angular 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, all these are out of support only, but we have that applications. Simple example I will show you. Maybe I'll go with IRCTC, which was implemented purely with .NET Core and Angular only. This application. You can right click and go to that inspect. And here, if you could observe the Angular elements, I will show you. See this, what it is. NG version. Is it visible to all? So what version right now? 9 only. Still it is in 9 only, right? It doesn't matter that like as we have 15 version today, immediately we will change the versions. We never do that one. Whatever the version we have started, till the end, we will be using the same version. If at all, if you wanted to change the total version, we have to think about version conflict issues. That is the reason where people in real time will never change the version, even though if it is released, or else if it is released very frequently also, we never change it. But I'm going to explain you here like all the features that we are having from like, let's say 2 to 19, whatever currently we are using as the part of the development, we will understand each and everything. Okay, that is what my plan. Now, if anyone who are not installed, there you can use this command directly. npm install -g @angular CLI that we are having. Suppose already you have installed in your mission and you wanted to update it, right? You guys wants to update it. I'll write a simple note here. This is only for the people who have already installed. Angular CLI in your mission and you wanted to update that Angular CLI, then what you can do is first you have to uninstall the existing version. Okay, note, what is the note? What is the note? I'll write it here. If Angular CLI was installed and wanted to update, first thing is going to be uninstall the version. For that, we have a command that is npm uninstall. Okay, uninstall -g @angular/CLI. First, uninstall that existing version. Don't blindly install it again and again. It is not required. Second thing is going to be clear the cache. How to clear the cache? npm cache clear is the command. Okay, npm cache clear is the command which can be used to clear the cache. And the third one is going to be install the latest. Install the latest one. How do we? Same command again. npm install -g @angular/CL. But this is required only if Angular CLI was already installed and you are going through the below versions rather than the current version. Suppose you have 12 version, you have 11 version, you have 9 version, and you wanted to update yourself to the latest version, then at that time, first you have to do this step. And before that, make sure all these versions should be updated. Okay, Node.js should be installed the latest one. NPM also will get installed automatically. You have to update the TypeScript, then only you can do this process. Suppose let's say you have the Node.js right now, it is 18.18 is the version, right? You have the Node.js version is going to be 10 or 11, and you wanted to install the latest Angular version, then we don't have the support. So that if you wanted to maintain the latest one, you have to update everything. Node.js has to be updated. How to update? Download directly. For that, you need not to uninstall anything. You can download the latest version from the latest software and you can install so that automatically it gets updated. And NPM will automatically get updated. TypeScript also, you can just install the file so that it is also getting updated. Understand? But when it comes to Angular CLI, if anyone who are not installed so far, use this command. Suppose if somebody has already installed, then uninstall the version first of all, and then clear the cache completely. And once if it is done, install the latest version. Okay. So after to check the version, we use a command that is ng version. These are the steps that needs to perform before we are going to start with the Angular. And then if you could verify, you will be getting like this Angular CLI, and we have CLI version, and you see node version and package manager, everything that you can find it over here. If you're not getting this one, that means Angular is not installed. If you are not getting this kind of image or this kind of output in your command prompt, then Angular was not installed in your machine. If Angular is not installed, then you will be getting an error message that is ng is not recognized as an internal or external command. If you are getting that error message, ng is not recognized as an internal or external command, then it means that Angular CLI was not properly installed in your machine. Clear now? So these are the basic steps that needs to perform whenever if you wanted to build the Angular application. Do you want me to go with, because it's an updated version only. If at all, if you want to show me, then I can show you. First thing is what? npm uninstall, okay, -g @angular/CLI, that what I can use. And then you can see it is executing here and it is removed 224 packages and all. And the next thing is going to be npm clear cache, that what I can say. And it might take npm cache clear. Right. As of npm5, the npm cache self heals from the corruption state by treating the integrity mismatches. Okay, I just wanted to run it with the force command. Okay. Now this is how it is. Leave about the remaining things. Okay. Now you can just play the screen. Now you could install it. npm install -g @angular/CLI. It might take a time. Okay. See this. It is not installed clearly because of, like, we have an issue with the log. New minor version of npm is available. Run that npm install -g for an update. npm install -g npm @ 9.6.5. Okay, so npm, one second. I guess the latest version might be cache command is changed. Okay, here. I have like all the commands list. Will share you. Okay, all Angular commands I have written. Might be the latest version. These are like one-time install only. That is only the reason where I forgot few commands. Browser cache, npm cache. So third party of the no, not this. We have a command. Let me show you. npm cache verify. Now it log can be found in this file. Let me go to the C drive. Users app data local npm cache. Users just a minute. It is step. You may get this problem with Windows 11. Do you know the reason behind? Windows 11, I don't know like why they have given this feature. Every folder is read-only folder. If you open that, like every folder is the read-only. That is the problem where it won't allows you sometimes. But just oh, it is taking more time now. Okay, meanwhile, do one thing, write down the comments. What comments are there? Just write down. The only thing what I need to do is like as it is read only, so I'm unable to delete that cache. I'll just make it as like, disable this feature to the folder so that automatically it will be working fine. Okay. Write down the first command. This one, these three you can first note it down. To install the latest Angular CLI, just write down this. Meanwhile, to install the latest Angular CLI, we use a command that is it is taking more. That is this one. npm install -g @Angular CLI. Next, to create that application, to create that Angular application, so after this, to create an Angular application, we use a command that is ng new application name. Ng new application name. I mean, after this installation process, I will show you the steps how we can do that one. Ng new and the application name. Here, that application name can be any name that you can give. Once you give that application name, it will ask you two questions. The first question is going to be, would you like to have routing enabled? Okay, would you like to have routing enabled? And here we have two options, yes or no. Now, what is meant by routing here? As you know, when I comes to the very introduction part, I told you Angular is used to build a single page application. That means the complete content is going to be loaded in a single page. And after that onwards, it won't make any request to the server. The page itself, we are able to get the output. So to build those kind of applications, or else like navigation related applications, if you wanted to build, Angular comes with a feature that is what we call it as a routing. Routing is the process of providing the navigation for the application. Because like any application you can take, we are not going to work on a single page. That means we are navigating from one page to another page. That is very common scenario. So in order to implement those kind of things, then we need to have the routing should be enabled for our application. But if it is required, then only, otherwise you may simply ignore this part as well. So that is the reason what I can do. Either you can say yes or you can say no. Anything is fine. If you can say yes, then additionally two files are added. If you can say no, those two files are removed. That's it, nothing apart from that one. And a couple of configurations are added because later also we can add. If you are not installed here right now, later if you need, there you can install it. We have an option. We have the commands are available. That is where I told you, whenever if you want to have anything with respect to the development, we can get that with the help of the commands. We'll see like the list of commands, how we can make use of it. And the second question is going to be, this is the steps to create an Angular application. Angular application icons. So the next step is going to be which style sheet format, would you like to add? So here we have, I mean, it supports different formats. One is going to be CSS, another one is going to be SAS is available, and then we have less is available, and then we have stylus or something that we are. So these are all the style sheets generally. But as I'm not into the pure UI development, I don't have any idea about the remaining three. Most of the time, I'm using in my project that is a CSS by default. So that select the CSS, okay, and then click on OK. I'm not taking care and bothering about the remaining things. Those are not related to me and not related to you as well. These are required for pure UI developer. Anyone from here, pure UI? Anyone? Like, I'm not sure about like, the remaining. I haven't used even in my career. Mostly I go with CSS. Later I go with Bootstrap, and we have a material. Angular material is there. By using that, I can go with the styling purpose. So that is the reason the very first command is what? Ng new and give the name of that application. Second one is going to be, do you want to add the routing is available or not? So that you can say yes or no. And the third one is going to be, what I need to do? I'll go with the style sheet format. Which style sheet we want to use? I'll go with the style sheet that is going to be CSS. Now, once if you can do that, then internally what happen, it will connect with that NPM, Node Package Manager, and get download all the files that are required for you in order to run the application. Clear? In order to run that application. That means once we click on OK, then it will communicate with npm and download all the necessary files into the location into the location. Now, what are all the files and folders we are having? I will show you. Once if it is done, then only I can do anything. But still, seems it is taking somewhat more time. So I will show you like how a new project is going to be and what are all the files are available. I will show you that very initial. The problem here is like after this NPM cache is cleared, but these are like, in hidden mode. I'll just enable it and then restart the system once. Then you can try. That will work definitely. But if I restart now, then the online class will stop. That is the problem what I'm thinking. But definitely, if you can restart the mission once, then if anything is available in the cache, will get removed automatically. Then you can install it one more time. Don't need to worry. I will show you that at the end. So now once you done with these three steps, first one is engine new, give the application name, and then select the routing. That's up to you. Either yes or no, because routing is a separate concept which you will be learning mostly after 1 month. It is take minimum 1 month to go to that concept. That is where till that if you don't want to enable, you can say no. Don't need to worry. And then style sheet format, as I told you, CSS. And then once you click on enter or OK, whatever, then it will communicate with the Node Package Manager and download all the necessary files to the folder. Now, what is the folder structure? You can observe here. I'll go to my D drive here, and in my D drive, I have Angular sessions is the sorry. I have, I mean, there is like the application which I have created the first application. So like this, it creates all the folders to you. I'll open this with the help of command prompt, and where I can go with code space dot I can use. Now you can see what are all the folders that are available. Right. Now you can see what is the first folder. This is the Visual Studio Code. And these are all like, the Visual Studio configuration. That is code level configuration, VS Code configuration. You need not to worry about it. These are not required as a developer because these are going to be set up by the company. One company, they are having their own configuration. My company is having different configuration. Your company, it's all like, the depend on the configuration. You can see here. So it's all depend on the configurations. It doesn't mean that like, you have to do that. That means whenever the application is running, which port number you want to run, it's 4200. And whenever like you want to do like, the testing, which port like, the unit testing is going to be happen. Generally, Angular is comes with the Jasmine and Karma. Those are like, the unit testing framework. Whenever you run the test cases, in which browser or which port number the test cases needs to be executed. All these are configurations are done by the company. You never participate in like, this is the place where you need to run and all. So this is completely related to the architecture level. We need not to perform anything. And the next one you can see, this is what the node modules. Now, what is meant by node module here? A node module is nothing but a framework, I can say simply. It is a framework. If you are a .NET developer, like you are using many class libraries, right? As an import statement, that is the using statement, using system or using system.data.sql client, using, let's say, system.configuration. Same way, if you are a Java developer, we have the import statements, right? Import and import system, like that import system.lang or whatever. We have like, different import statements are available. From where you can get them? Library. That means we have a class library collection. That is what we call it as a framework. Generally, we call it as a framework. And same thing, node modules is also going to be a framework which contains collection of libraries over there. Collection of what libraries here it is? These are all JavaScript libraries. Those are used to run the Angular application. Second, how I can get this node module? That is what I told you here, the point. The time when you click on enter, then it will communicate with what? Node.js package manager and download all the necessary files that are used to build, develop, and run that Angular application. That means if you don't have, node modules folder in your project, then you can't build and run also. That means node modules is your framework folder. Simply, I can say it is a framework folder which contains all the dependent libraries, and the total application. You can see we have like, that application among like, the total application, only node modules is the one file which comes with like, more size. Now, when I right click on here, I'm sorry. I'll go to my, okay, let's right click, show more options, go to the property. Now you can see what is the file size of our application. What is the size here? 283 MB is the file size, right? I mean the first example size. Now I'll remove the node modules. Okay, right click on here, go to the property. What is the size of your development code? It's 449 KB only, not even an MB. Understand? That means whatever you developed, it is not in an MB, but whatever the framework it support, it's around 200 plus MB, 250 plus MB files has to be downloaded. Understand? But Shrikant, do we use like all the libraries? Means no. It's all depend on the requirement. In Java and .NET, we have lakhs of libraries are available. Are we going to use all the libraries? Whatever it is required, we will be using it, depend on the requirement. The same way, node modules also comes with all the libraries information. It comes with like a lot of library, and not even these libraries. We have third-party libraries like Bootstrap you can take, Bootstrap icon you can take. Sometimes jQuery if it required, you can. Or else, let's say, in order to do the pagination, we have like different libraries that are available. We can download them. Third-party libraries you can take. All those libraries also we can download, but it's all depend on the requirement. It comes with all, but we are using based on our requirement. That is what all about the node modules. Node modules will contain what? The first one is going to be Visual Studio. That means the first folder structure, I can say. The first one is going to be what we are having here, VS Code, right? Yes or no? VS Code is the folder. Now, what this folder will contain? It contains, Visual Studio, code configurations. It contains Visual Studio Code configuration. And the next one is going to be node underscore modules. Node underscore modules is the folder. It is downloaded all the packages that are required to build the Angular application. That means it contains all the packages, or some people may call it as libraries. It contains all the packages, and some people may call it as libraries. Okay, all the packages, and some people may call it as libraries, and those are going to be available in our project. In our project, if we don't have, node underscore modules folder, we cannot run the application. We cannot run the application. That means Angular application, if you wanted to run, not even Angular, React, you anything you can take. If there is no node modules folder, we cannot run that application, because that is the heart where you can have all the inbuilt libraries or predefined libraries. Support is available from there. And the next one, what we are having, the third one is going to be SRC folder. Now, SRC stands for source folder. I can say SRC. SRC is nothing but it is a source folder where the development takes in place. That means the complete development where you can do in a folder, that is what we call it as a SRC folder. SRC is the one folder where the complete development is going to be. Now here only you can do whatever you want. You can see what files we are having. App will contain, you can see routing file is available, right? As I told you earlier, whenever if you can say yes, then this file will get created. If you can say no, then you cannot find this file. And at the same time, component.css, component.html, component.spec.ts, and then component.ts, and then module. All these are like, app folder will contain by default app component. Like that, you can create any number of components. So the next folder is going to be app folder. It contains default component. That means whenever if you can build an Angular application, it completely works on component based architecture. What is mean by a component? Component is nothing but a reusable HTML which comes with the dynamic data. That means, let's say, I'll be taking some example. Maybe Naresh IT you can take. When it comes to here we have the heading. After that, we have the navigation. After that, we have some image here. After that, I have some content here. And this is how, like, the Naresh IT website, right? Now from here, everything, whatever you're seeing, if you can build this in Angular, everything, whatever you can see, that is going to be a component. This particular part is one component. This particular part is another component. This particular part is another component. So, Srikant, what is that advantage? Once you define, let's say, a component-based architecture, you need not to recreate it again and again. Same component, I can use it in another file also, right? Yes or no? Suppose, let's say, when I open classroom training, again the header part is changed here. Tell me, same header. When it comes to, let's say, IEEE project or whatever, you can see the same header part is available, right? If I created it as separately, maybe in future, if they wanted to add, let's say, here we have Facebook, Insta, LinkedIn, and Twitter, and YouTube is available. Suppose I just wanted to go with some other social media icon, or else another, let's say, different social medias are there. I wanted to add one. If I implement it separately for each and every page, then how many times I need to add? Those many times, right? Suppose, let's say, here I have 1, 2, here we have 4, total 6, and again here we have 6, 12, 12 plus 4, 16, 16 plus, let's say, 5, 17. So yeah, 17, or let's say 5 or 6, like that. See, we have around 20 to 30 pages are available here. If I separately implement this particular implementation or particular section for every page. If I implement separately, at future, if something I wanted to add it here, otherwise in place of this logo, might be they change the logo, then again need to go to 20 places, right? Yes or no? Instead of doing that, what I can do, I'll create it as a component, single component, and I can do like whatever I want. Directly, I can make use of that component so that if any change comes, one time if I do, then it will be an impact in all the places. That is the main architecture level reason behind the Angular. Angular, React, anything you can take, those are component based architectures. Everything is a component. We create everything is a component. That means to run an Angular application, we should have a component. By default, we will be having app component. By default, they are giving for us. And that related files, you can find it in the app folder. App folder contains the default component that is going to be app component. Srikant, I just wanted to remove this. Yes, you can remove and you can create your own. It is like, the basic structure, what they provided you. You don't need that, then you can simply remove it. Understand? You can simply remove it and you can create your own and you can do your own development also. That's up to you. Clear now? This is the tab component. And the next one is going to be assets folder is available. Assets will contain all the static file information. It contains static files like images, okay, GIF icons, or else any of the text files, etc. Static files. Any static files, if you wanted to maintain, there you can go with the assets folder. By default, 90% of the scenario, we will be having images. 90% we have the images rather than other files. We have the images over there. And the next one you can see favorite icon. What is favorite icon? Where you can find it? Tab. If you can open like, any tab, here you have an icon, right? See this. And here you have TS is an icon. Here we have A is an icon. G is an icon. Stack Overflow icon. Naresh IT icon. These are what we call it as a favorite icon. And this is how the favorite icon is for Angular applications. Suppose you don't want to go with this one. If you wanted to add by your own, then you can change it here. Okay, favorite icon. I don't want to write. And the next one is going to be index.html. This is the starting page of the Angular UI. That means index.html. It is the starting page of the UI in application, and it contains HTML head and body tags. That means for every component, we don't have the HTML tag, we don't have the head section tag, we don't have the body tag. Everything you can see here, you can find it over there. Index.html is the starting UI. And after that onwards, whatever the components you build, that you can call from here. You can see what is here, app-root is available. Now, what is app root? You can observe that. When I go to my component.ts, now we have a selector. What is the selector here? App root. And app root will contain what? Template URL, where it is available, app.component.html. If you can see app.component.html, we have a lot of HTML code here, right? Yes or no? We have a lot of HTML code. All this HTML code, I'm going to render in the body of my index page by using the selector. If I use the selector here, then what happen, whatever the HTML code we are having here, everything will come and sits in the body tag. Understood? Now you can observe that, do we have the head and body tags here? HTML tag. Do we have anything here? No. Where we have all those things, we have it in the index.html. That means one place where you can find the head HTML body tag is what? Index.html. Remaining in all the component, whatever the development you want to do, you can do that. Then automatically it comes to here in this particular place. Clear? Clear now. So index is the starting page, I can say. It is the starting page of the UI in the application, and it comes with a HTML tag, head tag, and also following with the body tag. And the next one here you can find, the next one is going to be main.ts. Now what is main.ts here? Main.ts. Main.ts. It is exactly the main method of the application. Generally, what is the purpose of main method? Program execution. That means your application execution will start from where? Main method only. Programmatically, application execution will start from the main method, and here also the same thing. Now the application execution will start from the main method. From the main method, we are bootstrapping a module. Bootstrapping is nothing but initialization. Okay, which module we are initializing? App module. That you can find it here. See that, right? I'll show you. App module is initializing. Right click and go to the definition. Now from the app module, which component is it bootstrapping? App component. Right click, go to the definition. When I call this app component, we use a selector. What selector is going to be? App root. I use that app root in the index app. Right? Understood. That means first execution will start from where? Main method. That is main.ts. From the main.ts, we are bootstrapping. Bootstrapping is nothing but initialization. Initialization has started from where? App module. If you can right click and go to the definition, now here this is the app module. You can see that app module.ts file. Okay. From here, I am bootstrapping which component here? App component. Now, if you can go to the app component is having what? A selector to instantiate. Now, the same selector, I am using it in my HTML. This is the whole flow of the application execution. That means main is the starting point. So first it will call the main.ts. Okay. In the main.ts, we are bootstrapping what module? App module. And the app module again bootstrapper. Bootstrap means initialize. Don't think that normal bootstrap. Okay. Bootstrapping, otherwise I'll write bootstrapping or else initialize. Initialize. Okay. And here also bootstrapping or initialize which component? App component. And app component is having a selector, that is app-root selector, and this can be used in the index.html. Okay, first it will start from main.ts and ends with the index.html. That is how the user will see the output. Clear now? Clear for all? Anyhow, we will see like practically. Shrikant, can I change like app module to some other module? Yes. Can I change app component to some other component? Yes. Everything is customizable. In Angular, everything is customized. We can do whatever we want. Which one is going to be the starting module and which one is going to be eager module and lazy modules. Lazy loading is one concept. One beautiful concept is there. So how we can do that one? Everything that I can show you in detail, don't worry. So this is how that execution process. Okay, fine. And the next one, here we have, I'll close all the files and I'm right? Next one is going to be styles.css. Now here you can observe that app is having what component.css is available. Along with that, why should have the styles? Now there itself you can see, you can add the global styles to this file and also import other styles. So that means styles.css, this file contains global styles that can be that can be applied for all the components. For all the components, if you wanted to add the styles, there you can go with the styles.css. Understood. There we can go with styles.css. We can use the styles.css and that can be used in all the places. That's up to you. Wherever we want to use it, we can use it. That means if I define anything in my component and that is going to be used at component level only. But as I told you, Angular is made up with the help of like many components. Suppose I just wanted to define some style which are common in all the component across that application. Then I can define that in the styles.css. Individual, if I want to maintain, then go with what? App.component.css. So this is how it is going to be styles.css. And the remaining all are configuration related again. You can see editor config. The purpose of, I don't want to write them because these are not much important to you. Always like we will be taking care of this folder only, src folder. The remaining you can see editor or whatever, because these are very frequent changes. We are going to do like, the development very frequently. We are working like very close to this folder only, and remaining all are one-time configurations. One-time configuration, and that too not by the developer at architecture. So the next one is going to be editor config. Now what is editor config? It provides the rules and regulations to write the code. That means the coding standards. As I'm a developer, she is a developer and he is a developer. We have three developers. Do we have any guarantee that three are going to be right the same coding standard? Obviously, no. That is the reason some coding standards they might define. The quotation type is going to be what? Single, and maximum line length, how many character that they can. And the trim trailing white space is false. And the indent size is how much? And the character set. So all these are what the coding standard that are defined by the architect to follow while developing that application. And this file might be vary from one company to another company again, because like my companies, they are having their own standard, and another company, they are having their own standard. All those standards are going to be available here. Whenever if you are violating the standard while doing the development, it will throw you a compilation error. That's it. So that you can see, not even an error, warning. Just it's a warning message you will be getting. By seeing the warning, you can fix it, right? You can change the logic. I mean, it's not the logic, it's the standard. Maybe let's say creating a variable. Generally, the variable length should not exceed more than 8 characters. Generally, if I create a variable, example x is equal to 10, if I'm giving, there we have like, more number of characters, right? So don't give that. Suppose I create a variable as ID. What ID it is? It's student ID or employee ID. We don't have any clarity on, so that it should be some standard. All those standards are defined here in a editor config. And the next one, git ignore, is nothing but what are all the files you don't want to add it to the GitHub. That you can find it here. Angular.json will contain all the configurations related to that Angular application, and package.json will contain what packages are available. Right now, application is using And package.log.json will contain information about each package. You can see a remapping, where it is available, what is the registration key, and what are the dependent packages that are available from when it is going to be supported. And the dev kit architect is one package, and with which version it was going to be. And then you can see we have another package, might be RxJS is the package. Now from where it has downloaded. Understand? Package.json will contain just the package info. What are all the packages we have used in the application? It comes with that only. Individual package information, you can find it here. See that. From where it has downloaded, what is the registry key, and with which version right now that is available. All that information you can find it here. Where it is package-lock.json. Okay. And the last one, these are like, the TypeScript configurations. Any TypeScript related configurations, if you wanted to have, you can have it. Now let me go to here. So this is the folder structure. I'll just check once. I'll close it. I'll close it, and this is also done. Okay, right. npm install -g @angular/CLI. Then it will give an error. We'll go through that. Otherwise, let's do one thing. Okay. npm npm cache health cache. npm cache clean is there. Whenever a workspace used to add or clean. Clean, delete all the data of the cache folder, not the typically unnecessary as enemy self-healing and resistant to data corruption issues. npm will store the cache and base address. Note that it is local data prefix cache directory. Okay, investor person, if you need to verify the cash receipts. Okay, maybe I'll just check this and update you tomorrow. It's already 8:50. I have another class. I'll update you on this, and whatever we discussed today, you just follow and create your. Okay, that's. Thank you and have a nice day.